Morning Year 6, this is your anchor task video for Friday week 3 of lockdown. So today's lesson is all about ordering fractions, decimals and percentages. So that means putting them in order from either smallest to largest or largest to smallest. So here's your helping hands. It says change all of them into either decimals or fractions or percentages. And that is something that's really, really important. I hope that you remember before Christmas when we were doing fractions, if you are ordering fractions, you have to make them all the same, make all the denominators the same. And I think it's really, really important to remember that when you're putting anything in order, they need to be the same, okay? Whether that's the same denominator, whether that's the same as in they're all in decimals or they're all in fractions or they're all in percentages, it will always just make your life that little bit easier. For me personally, I love a decimal, so I would change them all to decimals, but you might decide that actually you prefer them all to be fractions or all percentages. The only thing I would say about fractions is be careful. If you put them into a fraction, they need to have the same denominator. So I would always recommend going for maybe a decimal or change them into a percentage. So let's have a look at the actual question. Al thinks that these values are in ascending order. That means going from smallest to largest, okay? So it means like ascending the throne, to go up, okay? Is she correct? Prove it. So she's gone 2/5, 0.3, 0.07, 12%, 70%, and 40/80ths. Okay, so she believes that 0.3 is smaller than 0.07. And I can almost understand where Al's thinking is coming from here, because she knows that 3 is smaller than 7. But we know that this one here, okay, is equivalent to 3/10, isn't it? Okay, which is actually much bigger. So what are we going to change them into today? I think we will go for, let's go for decimals. I'm going to change them all into decimals. We can change them into percentages afterwards. So I know that this one is 0.3 or 0.30 if we really want to make them two decimal places. 12% as a decimal is going to be 0.12. 70% as a decimal is going to be 0.7 or 0.70 if we're going to make them all two decimal places, just to make it a bit easier. And 40/80ths, well, I know that 40 is half of 80, so I know that this equivalent fraction is 1/2. Therefore, as a decimal, it must be 0.5. The only one I've got left is 2/5. So to make it into a decimal, I need to change the denominator so that it is a 10. Okay, so I'm going to times that by 2, times the top by 2, so it's 4/10. So that's the same as 0.4. And to make it two decimal places, we can make it 0.40. It just makes life a little bit easier when we want to put them into an order. So now I've got 0.4, 0.3, 0.07, 0.12, 0.7 and 0.5. Okay, so we're going to make that two decimal places. I'm looking for the smallest one, okay, to go at the beginning. So I've got a number 50, a 70, a 12, a 7, a 30 and a 40. So I'm hoping that you can see there quite quickly that 0.07 is the smallest one there. And I would cross it out so it's done. Right, now we're looking for the next one. So we've got a 4, a 0.4, a 0.3, a 0.12, a 0.7 and a 0.5. We can look at 50, 70, 12, 30 and 40. So it's going to be obviously 0.12, 0.12, my mistake. We're not going to write 0.12 though, are we? We're going to write 12% because we're writing the original numbers down, don't forget. Okay, so we can get rid of that. Next one then is obviously going to be our 0.3. Okay, if you've gotten the hang of this now, then why don't you pause the video and have a go at doing the rest on your own. Okay, so the next one is going to be obviously 0.4. Although I've written 0.4, so I've made a mistake there. It's okay for me to make mistakes as long as we correct them. So I'm going to get rid of that 0.4 because what I should have written was 2/5. Okay, so I should have written 2/5. So 2/5. Get rid of that one, done that one. Next one then is 40/80ths, or half. Hope everybody recognises that that's a half. Your brain should scream that out at you as soon as you see that fraction. And actually the biggest one we've got is 70%. Okay, so if I was going to make them all into percentages now, I could look at this and go, well, that one must be 40%, this one must be 30%, this one is 7%, 12%, 70% and 50%. Okay, and again, it would have been nice and easy for us to have put those into the order. Okay, let's have a look then at the star. I'm just going to erase all of the working out on here just because it's going to get in the way and you won't be able to see our question. So the star says, Eagle said that to change 0.3 into a percent, you need to get rid of the 0 point and add a percent sign. Do you agree? So what Eagle said is 0.3. To make it into a percent, all we have to do is get rid of this and add a percent sign. Is he correct? No. I'm hoping you're all screaming there, okay? That is not correct, is it? Because we know that percent means out of 100. Therefore, to change 0.3 into a percent, we need to have two decimal places. Therefore, to change that, it's going to be 30%. We also know that because it's the same as 3/10, okay? It's equivalent to 3/10, which is equivalent to 30 hundredths. And we know that percent means out of 100, okay? So 30 hundredths is the same as 0.3. 3/10 is the same as 0.3. Therefore, it must be 30%. So the only way to change a number into percentages, okay, is to look at the decimal places and to convert them into fractions first, so that you can understand that that's equivalent to 3/10, which is also the same as 30 hundredths. Okay, remember, we never just get rid of the 0 point and add a percent. Maths is never going to be that easy, unfortunately. So I hope that's helped with your anchor task. The next video will obviously be your guided, and obviously it's all about ordering fractions, decimals and percentages, and obviously we're going to have to be changing them so they're all the same. So I will see you very soon in your guided video.